It's been more than 100 years since Max Planck, the theoretical physicist who originated quantum theory, which won him the Nobel Prize in Physics, said that he regards consciousness as fundamental, that he regards matter as a derivative from consciousness, and that everything we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. He is basically saying that the non-physical substance of consciousness is directly intertwined with what we perceive to be our physical material world in some sort of way, shape or form, that consciousness is required for matter to be, that it becomes after consciousness, and he's not the only physicist to believe that. It was not possible to formulate the laws of quantum mechanics in a fully consistent way without reference to consciousness. Eugene Wigner, theoretical physicist and mathematician. He received a share of the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1963. Scientists have been urging the mainstream scientific community, which today is littered with scientific fraud and industry influence as well as invention secrecy, to open up to a broader view regarding the true nature of our reality. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all of the previous centuries of its existence. Nikola Tesla. Not long ago, a group of internationally recognized scientists came together to stress this fact and how it's overlooked by the mainstream scientific community. It's post-material science, an area of study dealing with the non-physical realm, and it's challenging the modern scientific worldview of materialism that's dominated mainstream science. Max Tegmark, a theoretical physicist at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Cambridge, is one of the latest to attempt explaining why he believes consciousness is a state of matter. He believes that consciousness arises out of a certain set of mathematical conditions, and that there are varying degrees of consciousness, just as certain conditions are required to create varying states of vapor, water, and ice. As PBS emphasized, understanding how consciousness functions as a separate state of matter could help us come to a more thorough understanding of why we perceive the world the way we do. Tegmark describes this as perceptronium, which he defines as the most general substance that feels subjectively self-aware, and this substance should not only be able to store information, but do it in a way that form a unified, indivisible whole. The problem is why we perceive the universe as the semi-classical, three-dimensional world that is so familiar. When we look at a glass of iced water, we perceive the liquid and the solid ice cubes as independent things even though they are intimately linked as part of the same system. How does this happen? Out of all possible outcomes, do we perceive this solution? Tegmark. This new way of thinking about consciousness has been spreading throughout the physics community at an exponential rate within the past few years. Considering consciousness as an actual state of matter would be huge, considering the fact that modern-day definitions of matter require a substance to have mass, which consciousness does not have. What it does have, however, is some sort of effect on our physical material world, and the extent of this effect and how far it goes is the next step for science. The quantum double-slit experiment is a very popular experiment used to examine how consciousness and our physical material world are intertwined. It is a great example that documents how factors associated with consciousness and our physical material world are connected in some way. One potential revelation of this experience is that the observer creates the reality. A paper published in the peer-reviewed journal Physics Essays by Dean Radin, Ph.D., explains how this experiment has been used multiple times to explore the role of consciousness in shaping the nature of physical reality. The study found that factors associated with consciousness significantly correlated in predicted ways with perturbations in the double-slit interference pattern. Observation not only disturbs what has to be measured, they produce it. We compel the electron to assume a definite position. We ourselves produce the results of the measurement. For a physicist to brush off the fact that understanding consciousness is necessary for the advancement and understanding of the nature of our reality is not as common as it used to be, but, despite the empirical success of quantum theory, even the suggesting that it could be true as a description of our reality is greeted with harsh cynicism, incomprehension and even anger. A fundamental conclusion of the new physics also acknowledges that the observer creates the reality. As observers, we are personally involved with the creation of our own reality. Physicists are being forced to admit that the universe is a mental construction. Quote, pioneering physicist Sir James Jeans wrote, "The stream of knowledge is heading toward a non-mechanical reality. The universe begins to look more like a great thought than like a great machine. Mind no longer appears to be an accidental intruder into the realm of matter, we ought rather hail it as the creator and governor of the realm of matter. Get over it, and accept the inarguable conclusion." The universe is immaterial, mental and spiritual. R. C. Henry, Professor of Physics and Astronomy at Johns Hopkins University, The Mental Universe, Nature 436-29, 2005. And if you want to learn more, I recommend you click the link in the description. From www.power-quadrant.blogspot.com/ and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share it with your friends on Facebook and Twitter and Google+. Thank you for watching and see you next time.